there was times I went into the game where I'm like, I'm the best player on the field. I'm a 3-down linebacker. I'm the one that wears the green dot. I'm the one that gets stuff done.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Call The Huddle podcast. Today's episode, I got a chance to talk with former Alabama linebacker Nikhai Hill-Green ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft. Nikhai played 3 seasons with Michigan before transferring in 2023 to play for Charlotte, Colorado, and the Crimson Tide in consecutive years. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching, and let's get to it. College football or NFL were you more like as a fan growing up, you think?
So, like, funny story. I didn't know anything about college football. I thought that you from high school football to the NFL because growing up in Pittsburgh, you see the Steelers. That's really big. Like Pitt football is pretty big in Penn State, but you pretty much see the Steelers. So I thought you went from high school to the pros. So yeah, I was a pro guy.
That's funny. That's cool. I mean, I grew up a pro guy too. I think it's always fun, like the differences between if you grew up in college or grew up in NFL. There's two different emphases on the game. As a linebacker, I know you take after Ray Lewis. I know you said like you take after his game a lot, and you've gotten to speak to him and meet him in person. First off, like, is he the GOAT? You think as linebacker GOAT?
So for me, it's him and Luke Kuechly for me. I think Luke Kuechly, that's my GOAT on the field. But as far as leaving impact for the game of football, it's Ray Lewis for me.
Got you. So then I wanted to throw out a bunch of linebackers then. Like I want to start off with one first. So tell me between like Fred Warner and Navarro Bowman, like, I want to throw out a bunch of names, like, guys that I kind of like we're the same age, like kind of guys that kind of, we grew up watching. Fred Warner and Navarro Bowman, like who would you pick between one of those two guys?
Fred Warner, just because I would say he's so rangy in coverage. Like a pass is really never open in his zone if he's the middle runner or he's in a zone drop in the middle of the field. Between the hashes, NFL is not hashes, that's college, but in the middle of the field, it's not open. He has a lot of range and he can really bait quarterbacks and make them make mistakes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
And like,
Navarro
I mean,
Bowman he was a really good player as well. Navarro Bowman was.
yeah, like obviously all the names I want to throw. I'm gonna throw out like 4 or 5, 6 names. Fred Warner or James Harrison. Then who would you go after? Who would you pick? Still Fred. Still Fred.
Still Fred. But as far as being from Pittsburgh and who had an impact on me, James Harrison had a bigger impact on me. But just if I would draft a player and I'm the GM, I would draft
Yeah, for all
Fred
this,
Warner.
I kind of just want like you. Like I know you've said like you have a good eye for talent. Like you want to be front office when you're after it's all
Yep.
said and done. Like I know you said you have an eye for
Yep.
talent, but then we're still rocking Fred Warner. Like Fred Warner, Patrick Willis. Which one of those two? Does it still change up the Niners backers? Or are you still going
Patrick
Fred?
Willis. Patrick Willis. Because Patrick Willis, like for me, right below Ray Lewis is Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis is like he could do everything. He could do everything, and he changes your defense. So yeah, I gotta go with Patrick Willis.
That's cool. And I grew up watching the Niners, like him and Bowman in the middle. Like Bowman's a Penn State guy, obviously.
Yeah,
Patrick Willis or Luke Kuechly? You got like a pick between those two then?
Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly. His game was second to none. Just as far he dominated from beginning to end of his career, and honestly, he made it look easy, like he really did. So I would say Luke Kuechly, he impacted the run game, the pass game. He basically called out all the plays. So that's the linebacker you want. That's an unstoppable linebacker.
Yeah, for sure. I love to hear this. I love that you just being a student of the game. Like, I mean, that's what I love to hear about on here is just like, go back in time, like some of the greats, like pay homage. Kuechly or Brian Urlacher then? It's a little bit of a throwback too, but is that a different change up?
That's that's tough. That's tough. That's neck and neck for me. But I gotta go with Luke Kuechly just because, like, what the impact that he had. Like Brian Urlacher, for instance, Brian Urlacher made a lot of plays, but I think Luke Kuechly like made the more impactful plays, which like changed seasons. You know what I mean? Brian Urlacher, I think changed games, but Luke Kuechly changed seasons with the plays he made. So
That's cool. And I think, like you said, he was very generational. Like, I mean, he obviously retired earlier than a lot of the world would have liked to see him retire. Luke Kuechly. But he's a GOAT. He's one of them up there. Him or Bobby Wagner? Would you still Luke Kuechly then for you?
I got to go with Bobby Wagner because of his longevity. He's still playing at a high level in year 14, and he played with the Legion of Boom. Think about that. He played with the Legion of Boom, and in 2026, he's still playing at a high level. So I got to go with Wagner because of longevity.
I like that. And then the last one, like I mean, Ray Lewis. Like you picking Ray Lewis over all those guys? Then like Ray. Could you think of a guy that you'd rather over Ray?
No, Ray Lewis is the best linebacker of all time, and just the impact that he had on the game of football in general. He was kind of that like bigger than the game. Like if Ray Lewis was playing in a football game, he was putting butts in seats and he was making people want to watch the game of football and attracting people who may not have watched football otherwise, but oh, Ray Lewis is playing in this game. So I got to go with him. He was just like a generational player.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, like you got an eye for talent. Like he was rangy. He was dropping back in coverage, like blowing guys up, and all the gaps. Like he was a do it all at linebacker. Just watching him, like I remember him blowing up like Chad Ochocinco and stuff. Just like
Yeah.
people are scared to go against him. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Also,
I don't. Yeah,
he was that enforcer in the defense as well. Like he brought the intensity, he brought the energy, and that part of it is not talked about a lot. But when you have a guy bringing the energy, he's literally making everyone around him better. So like we think of him and what he's doing, but we're not thinking about how he's making everyone better because of the intensity, the energy, the preparation, just like everything he's bringing as well. So yeah, he was a big time player.
that's awesome, and that like is one of the things that stands out about the linebacker position is like the goats, like the real greats are like know what everyone's supposed to do, and like it comes off, and like you said, it's an energy thing. Like
Yep.
there's an energy that's beyond like any other position in like in a leadership way. And I appreciate that. Like I don't do that a lot on here where I like jump through position and stuff. I usually just go quick stuff. But that's awesome. You got a favorite snack or like go to food or anything, Nikai?
Go to food. My favorite snacks are, I would say, blueberries, bananas, and almonds. Those are my go to. If I'm like at an airport or I'm just like at home, that's what I'm snacking on.
That's cool. That's smart. I like that. I like that. That's easy. Uh, I know you've been playing college football a long time. You've gotten to see, I mean, obviously a lot of GOAT coaches, a lot of awesome players.
Yeah.
Who are some of the best athletes you think you've seen in person? Like freakiest, just craziest like athletes you've seen in person?
The freakiest athletes, I'll give you five.
Okay.
Not in any order. I'll just give you five. I'm gonna go with Blake Corum from Michigan. Just like as far as like a player that you want on your team and for your organization, like that dude did not waste a day. Like he was in the facility on Sundays when no one was in there. Like the work he did behind the scenes, like he just made the game look easy. He really did. Like there were certain times when I would sit on the bench and like the offense is on the field and I can hear the play, like what they're calling, and I'm like, he's gonna score. Like because you just seen it and you've seen the preparation behind the scenes. So I'm gonna go with Blake Corum. That's one of the freakiest players I've seen in college. Obviously, Travis Hunter, man, he never got tired. He won the Heisman, and I would say Travis Hunter's generational in that way too. Like people who didn't watch the game of football and they found out who he was and what he was doing, it was just abnormal. And he grew the game of football by the way he played, and more people wanted to watch him. So I would say Travis Hunter, Aiden Hutchinson, as well. Like his discipline and just like his preparation. Like I got a quick story before we played. I don't remember who we were playing. It was like my sophomore year at Michigan. When we were on the bus at getting to the game, he just kept replaying. He used to sit in the first seat. He just kept replaying his film on his phone. And I was looking at his phone and he's just looking at the tackle. He's just watching the tackle's movements, like the tackle's patterns. So like when he got sacks, sometimes it looked like he almost like jumped off sides how fast he beat the tackle because he just watched so much film. So I would say Aiden Hutchinson, just like a freak athlete and a worker of a guy and just like a true football guy. My number four, who do I go for number four? I got to put a Bama player in there. I'm gonna go Ryan Williams. I'm gonna go Ryan Williams. Just like the body control, how dynamic he is with the ball in his hands, um, his deep ball ability, just everything. His route running. I'm gonna go with Ryan Williams at four, and then number five. Number five, I'm gonna go with the linebacker. He plays for the Bengals, Demetrius Knight. I played with Demetrius Knight for a year. Man, like a freaky athlete and just like a great guy. Like a great guy. Like me and him, we were in the linebacker room and just like playing with him, like I felt like just like learning the position of linebacker, I felt like I learned it more from him and he learned it more from me. And we just bounce ideas off of each other. Like that type of chemistry. And like I said before, like the energy of a linebacker, he had such linebacker energy. And like we're competing with each other. I'm the alpha. He wants to be the alpha. And we're making our defense so much better just because of the energy that we're giving off. So I would say I would go with those five.
That's cool. I appreciate all that, man. That's awesome. Like you've gotten, I mean, you recapped it perfectly. Like I know you've gotten to play with some guys. I mean, like you said, since 2020, you've been playing on awesome teams with awesome players. And I think it's crazy. Like you've mentioned it so many times now. Like the linebacker leadership, like energy. Like I feel like it's one of the things that stands out about like watching old football. Like just like how hard people hit and like that energy flies around so much more. But like it's cool to see that carry around. And like I see it watching your film. I see it watching your interviews and stuff. Like I think it's really awesome to see those types of like players like in today's league. I mean, people talk about like how there's more rivalries needed, like like Steelers and Ravens should hate each other, like how all that stuff needs to like come back to how it's been, like all that stuff's needed in football. That's awesome. I know you got a French bulldog, right?
Yeah, I do. His name is Cassius.
That's cool. When'd you get him?
So I got him my fourth year of college. I met a breeder. And the breeder wanted to actually sell me another dog. And then he told me the price of the dog, and it was outrageous. It was thousands of dollars. And like, man, what's the cheapest dog you have? And then he shows me the French bulldog. I'm like, yeah, I'll take him. And he's the funniest guy. Like since the first day I got him, he's been just like full of life, and it's been cool. Like when I'm just hanging out at home and having a companion with me, he's just like he's really funny.
That's cool. I got a bunch of dogs too. I grew up having dogs like bulldogs, like American bulldogs, English bulldogs, and stuff. I know they're all my favorite type of like all the bully breeds and stuff. Like I got a pair of pit bulls. All those types of dogs are all like the
Okay.
funniest. Like
Yeah, they are.
best with like family. Like I like they're like the most loving. Like I don't. I love all dogs, but they're awesome. They're the best. I think that's awesome.
No,
Uh,
for sure.
Give me real quick like music for you, like Drake or Future. Just real quick first off, like between those two guys, who would you pick?
Drake. Sure, I will go with Drake.
Ooh, I like that. That's cool. And then on top of that, like music before like pregame, like what's your go to?
You know what's weird? I don't really have a go like my preparation before a game. My regimen is so organized to the point that I don't have much time to worry about music. So whatever is on, whatever I just turn on a playlist and put it on shuffle and put my headphones on. Whatever music is on, whether it's slow jazz or whether it's fast or rap or whatever or rock and roll or country, I'm just gonna let it play because I'm on a strict regimen to get as prepared as possible for this game. So I really don't worry about music much before games.
That's cool. I love that too. Like just focusing in. Like I've seen. Like I mean, I talked about that a lot on here. Like people focusing in, like dialing in, like trying to take stuff in. And
Yep.
like you meant, like there's a lot to that too. Like there's a lot to that. What are some of your best road trips been? Like what are some of your best like stadium environments? Like what's some of the your favorite road trips?
My favorite. So we had a night game when I was at Michigan. We had a night game at Nebraska, and we won late in the game, but it was a close game the entire time. And I think we were losing for like majority of the game. That was a crazy environment. That was a crazy environment. That night game at Nebraska. Another one is this past year playing against Tennessee at Bryant Denny. It was like it sounded like it was like an earthquake. It was deafening when Xavier Brown got the pick six, the 100-yard pick six. Man, that was the loudest I've ever heard. a stadium. What's some other ones? I played at the Swamp at night. That was pretty cool. My my third year of college, I played at the Swamp. That was a cool environment. What are some other ones? South Carolina this past year, that was pretty crazy. They had these things they were whipping. It looked pretty cool. Like the scenery of it, like it looked kind of like a movie. Um, what's some other the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis at Michigan, that was always cool. That was always a really cool environment. The SEC championship was really cool this past year. And the I gotta go with hands down. This is crazy that I'm even missing this. Penn State. Penn State was always when they get that when they get that going and it's a whiteout, man, it's crazy. Penn State, that's always a hard place to play. So I'm gonna go with those ones.
That's cool. I appreciate that. And like, I mean, you named everything. Like, I think you named all like everything that there is to name. Uh, but obviously, there's so much of like I go to all Penn State games. Like my family's like season ticket holders. My wife's season ticket holders. Um, so we go to a lot of the games. I don't end up going to a lot of them because I work and I'm busy. But
Mhm.
obviously SEC football is different. Never been to an SEC game, but like what was your first time going to an SEC? Like what was your first SEC experience? Like I guess like this past year, I guess especially.
My my first SEC experience was just like what maybe Missouri or I would say no, actually I would say Georgia. I would say Georgia in Athens because when we came out, they were barking at us, like they were barking, like everyone was barking, and I was just like that was abnormal for me. Everyone was barking. Like it's like it sounds like I'm like exaggerating the story, but that's what happened. When we ran out the tunnel, everyone was barking at us. So I gotta go with like Georgia and Athens. That was definitely like my like welcome to the SEC moment for sure.
Man, that's awesome. That's super awesome. That's wild. When it comes to school, like I mean, you've been in school for a long time. What have you studied? Like what have you been studying throughout school?
Yeah, so I got my plan was to go three and out for Michigan. I didn't go three and out, but I did get my degree in sports management in 3 years from Michigan. And then I got my master's in sport management from Alabama. So yeah, I want to work in the front office. You know, I want to draft players. Hopefully, I can be the head coach and the GM. That's like my end goal. But yeah, that's what I want to do because I love the game of football and I want to grow the game of football.
I love that. I love that, and I want to get into that, like just like when you first started knowing football a little bit in a second. But first, like the last icebreaker, I kind of wanted to ask Nikhai was if you could play a position other than linebacker, like what would you go with on the football field?
Quarterback,
Or
quarterback.
you play
Yeah,
quarterback before?
I've never played quarterback. I've pretty much played every other position but quarterback. But I just love I love the moment of when I have there's a mic in the linebacker's helmet. It's called the green dot. And when I wear that and everyone's looking at me waiting for the call, I love that moment. But I've never felt that as a quarterback when like you're the one who touches the ball every play and like everyone's depending on you. I would love to see how that feels. Like that's the position I would play if I didn't play linebacker.
Got you. That's cool. And like you said, there's a lot of like similarities in terms of like play calling. Like you just need to know what everyone's doing at every moment, like kind of thing. Um, First, like Alabama, like I mean, like this just past year was super special for you guys. Uh, I know you mentioned, like I know you mentioned even just like a few minutes ago, but I know you mentioned in other interviews that first Missouri game this year was like a big moment for you. Like I think you finished with 7 tackles, like season
Yeah.
high. What do you think you're gonna remember most from this whole season? Like your experience with Alabama.
I remember the relationships I made, um, the coaching, how just the standard of Alabama, like what the standard of that Coach DeBoer set, that the program and the University of Alabama set for just being a champion in everything you do, having a everything you do, you how you do everything is what you do in anything is how you're going to do everything type of mentality. And yeah, just the love that I have for Tuscaloosa and the university. Yeah, that's what I remember.
That's awesome. And I know it's like just different. Like Alabama, like the passion's different, the fan base, like you said, like the resources and like the investments into it, everything's different. For you, like what do you think was your favorite part of the season? Like favorite moment for you? Like just like can you reflect on that at all?
My favorite moment of the season was it would be I would say the LSU game because of me playing well, but not only because I played well, but because I prepared. Like that was my best week of practice, and it showed in the game. And I think it kind of gave me like a really good like perspective of like making practice perfect so the game is easy because I practiced so hard that week. And LSU and Alabama, that's a legacy game. That's what it's called, Alabama. But yeah, I would say LSU being able to force turnovers, being able to help my team win, and and get a win for the Tide, and beat one of our rivals.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like you said, like legacy game, and I think you forced a fumble, like you just mentioned off my head, like you forced a fumble in that game. You guys won by multiple scores. Uh, I think you guys even held them to like just like single digit points. Um,
Yeah.
Coming from Pittsburgh, going to private school down in Baltimore. Just tell me, like, I know you've mentioned like football is kind of like a vehicle for you to like do everything else in your life to spread like your faith and everything and everything else that you love. But when did you think football was your sport? When did you first realize that, like growing up throughout your childhood at all?
I think I knew early because when I was a baby, they would give me a bottle and I would watch football. Like I literally, it sounds exaggerated, but I would have a bottle and I would watch football on NFL Network all day. And then when I got a little older to like walk and talk and like understand, like know the players, there was a point in time where I knew every player on every roster in the NFL, every single player, like every single player. So I would say early, I had a stage in middle school where I kind of veered off to basketball and track, but then I realized like football is it for me. So I knew pretty early.
Got you. And I think like that's awesome. Like I love the sport of football. And I was kind of the same way, like just like always football. But like it's such a unique like team sport. Like I even say like now like it's the only sport. I mean, it's the most unique sport in terms of like it's really a team sport. Like no other sport is really like you can shine as an individual, you can win as having a few individuals, but you really need a full team in football. And that like translates to a locker room, like the bond, and especially like I'm sure you've seen that over the last 2 years, last 3 years, especially. Um, wh- for football, like what has it taught you in terms of like yourself and like who you are, kind of?
So myself, it has taught me that I'm resilient and just I'm a worker and I have integrity. I'm consistent. Football has taught me so much, and it's constantly teaching me more about myself. Um, yeah, and honestly, it what football shows me the most is to always keep working, to always like you can always be better. Because that's one thing that I learned from going like to so many different places. There's people out there that are like you, and if you don't keep working, they're gonna pass you. So that's always top of my mind, and that's always how I'm approaching life.
That's awesome. And like you've gotten to like there's so much to take away from. I mean, I've seen people talk about the leaders you've been gotten to learn from, the coaches, and like you've said like you wish you had taken more from those guys. The Charlotte transfer, like what were your biggest lessons from that year? Can you like take me back to what that was like for you, like the transition from Michigan to Charlotte, like even like a big jump in football, like how are you dealing with that
Yeah,
personally?
yeah. Like going to Charlotte, a lot of people they like it's weird. A lot of people they pretty much wrote me off when I decided to go to Charlotte, but they didn't understand that I went to Charlotte to play more. I went to Charlotte so I can play all three downs and show the scouts, show everyone. I'm a 3 down linebacker, and I'm the one that wears the green dot. I'm the one that gets stuff done. So that's one thing that I went there to prove. And two, the U.S. Performance Center was there, and I was fortunate to be able to train with Olympians every day and just learn from them and use the technology that the U.S. Performance Center had. And man, it was amazing. Like just learning, seeing these Olympians train every day, and they're training for one day. They're training for 4 years for one day. It gave me great perspective of just like preparedness again, of like they always got to be ready. They can't have an off day. So I adopted that mindset after I trained with Olympians that year at Charlotte to I can't have an off day. No day can be an off day because I'm training for 4 years for one day, just like them. And then it pretty much made football easy because once I learned that from them, and the U.S. Performance Center did a great job with their technology, just with their facilities and their nutrition and everything, to help me be the best me I could be.
That's crazy, and that's awesome. Like jumping from like you said, like going to private school to Michigan, and then like taking that step back, but like really diving that full into yourself and like taking the details and stuff like that extra step. Um, that's
Everybody,
really awesome.
everybody else thought I took a step back. That step back felt like 2 steps ahead. Like it felt like that was the best thing I did in my career. That was the best thing I did.
That's awesome. And I mean, like linebackers are all like you have to be a football player. You have to be able to play coverage. You got to play 1-on-1. You got to be able to play, like you said, like in the box. You got to be able to really do everything. But you like I know you've mentioned the pass rush game like this past year really like tuned up.
Yeah.
Like you taking that year at Charlotte, like and just all the perspective you have, like I mean that's exactly what you want and need going into the next level. And like you said, you have all that you've like shown yourself. Tell me, like, in terms of confidence, like when do you feel like you were most confident? Like was it after that Charlotte year? Like did your confidence take a step up after that, or like when did you really start to feel yourself?
Most When did I feel most confident? Um, I would say because confidence for me is kind of like a fleeting thing. So I really just go off like preparation, like readiness. So when I felt the most ready was this year at Alabama. There was times I went into the game where I'm like I'm the best player on the field. Like I truly feel prepared enough to get when I get the chance, I can show them the best player on the field. So I would say this year at Alabama. Not saying I wasn't confident before that, but when I'm talking about peak confidence, like flow state, it was this year.
Uh-huh. That's perfect. And I mean, flow state, that's a perfect way to put it. Cause like, I mean, you talk harp about God and stuff, and there's a lot of, to put together with God and sports and all that. But I just think your story is really awesome. Like, everything about your
Thank you.
story is awesome. And I harp on here, like the transfer portal, like there's so much experiences and like knowledge you could gain from just like seeing so many different like cultures, I guess is the word. Um,
Yeah. The weird part about the transfer portal is that when younger guys ask me about the transfer portal, it's ironic. They think when they ask me, I'm going to tell them to transfer, but I'm going to tell them um, to just do everything you can to be the best you can be and don't waste any days. Because whether it's there or here, the days are going to happen anyway. So get better. So just get better. Like Jim Harbaugh used to tell us something on Michigan. Get better, not bitter. And I didn't realize it in the time, but after the fact, I appreciated that a lot, and I thought about that a lot because it really doesn't matter where you are. Like I'm not saying you should never transfer, but just get better. Like once you keep putting in one foot in front of the other, things will work out for you.
yeah. And like you mentioned, like it's all about the next step, and like you were constantly looking at what was going to put you in the best position, like going to from Charlotte to Colorado, where you guys had the spotlight and obviously the team was all together, and then Bama, like you said, taking that extra professional step this past year. Just going off of the transfer portal stuff, I think that's really awesome, that perspective. I like to, like I said on here, like I think most people, like human nature is like tribal. Like you want to be comfortable, like you want to even like know the same people, you want to stick with the same people, kind of. But you bounce into three schools in 3 years. I mean, four schools in 4 years, really. What do you think you've taken from like being a Pennsylvania guy, and even like going through high school, like switching states, going out of state? What have you taken away from your experience of moving around and meeting different cultures and people like that? How has that changed you as a person, like kind of?
I would say being adaptable, because I can adapt anywhere, cold, hot, high altitude, low altitude, whatever the case may be. Being adaptable, that's what moving around has showed me. And also just being open, you'll never know who you can meet, and you'll never know the opportunities around you unless you use your resources. Like I literally got to train with Olympians every day. I got to like learn from Hall of Fame coaches at Colorado. I got to learn from first round picks at Alabama, and like former Alabama players. I got to pick their brain. At Michigan, I got to meet so many great donors and just business people. So I would just say being open, being present, and being adaptable. Those are the things that I learned. Just because I've met so many people by just being present and being in the moment and appreciating where I am, and not looking ahead or looking back.
Yeah, and that's important. I think that's great that you said that, because like it is. I mean, like you said, you've been through so much, but staying in the moment, like that's how you get the real growth, and that's awesome. That you're here where you're preparing for the next level. What's Ty Simpson like as a quarterback? How's he? How'd you know him in this past year?
Ty Simpson is everything you want in a quarterback. He's a competitor. He can throw the ball anywhere on the field, and he reminds me of Steph Curry. He really does. He reminds me of Steph Curry as a quarterback. He can make every throw you need, and the best part about him is he can make every throw you need under pressure. It doesn't have to be a clean pocket every time. It doesn't have to be ideal. And his story is honestly great. He waited his turn. When the big moment came, he didn't shy away from it. He stepped fully into his moment, and that's what you want in the quarterback. Like what you see with Ty is what you're going to get. Like hopefully these NFL teams don't overthink it with him, because he is the next one. Like he is. I'm just telling you that he is.
That's cool. And like when I first asked Tim about him, he was like, "Yeah, like Ty's my guy." Like he's literally said the same thing. He said the storm will never affect Ty. Like he's the same guy. Like he's a perfect leader. So that's awesome to hear for you. I got two more for you. I'll keep these quick. Strengths and weaknesses of your game. Like what are some things that you feel confident about right now, and what that you're trying to work on the flip side of that?
What I'm always working on my game. What I feel great about is my initial shock, getting off of blocks, block destruction. My initial shock is good. I want to work on my shed and continue to get that better. My recognition of quick game is great. Reading off the quarterback's drop, great, and melding off the quarterback is great. I want to keep continuing to add range to my drops by being better with my footwork at the top of drops, so I can break on footballs and turn PBUs into interceptions. Um, I'm constantly punching at the football. I want to continue to work on my peanut punch technique and just angles, different arm angles, to continue to get the ball out and create turnovers for whatever defense I play for. And yeah, and I would say on special teams, just winning my one-on-ones and using my hands so that I can win early in my special teams reps and play in space and close space and make tackles on kick returners.
For sure. That's awesome. Like all around player, like everything you're gonna have to bring to the next level. But you've been done special teams, you've done all that. It's awesome. last one, like you talked about a lot of the adversities you've had to push through since since being young, like loving football. Um, what's one that you would kind of point out that you've had to overcome, and how would you turn that into advice for someone else like younger coming coming up going through stuff?
So my biggest adversity in life was my mom getting sick. My mom was diagnosed with Chiari malformation. It's a rare brain disease, and when we found out, it was tough because she had to get surgery immediately, and she had to get a metal plate in her head, and we didn't know if there was a risk that she could be brain dead after the surgery. So that was really hard for me when I was young. I was around 13, and my football team we had a 70 game win streak, and I remember before the game, um, it was hard. It was hard just because my mom was getting surgery. My mom wasn't there. That was the hardest football game. No football game will ever be harder than that football game, um, because it was really hard, and that was a hard time for me. But every God willing, everything worked out with her surgery, and it worked. And also, my mom was the coach of our team, so she wasn't there, and that was just like that was kind of hard for me because my mom was my first coach, and she's my biggest critic and biggest fan, and she was just always there for me. So yeah, it just taught me to like be grateful, and to never take anything for granted, because that was just a burden on our shoulders. And thank God that everything worked out, and she's still thriving, doing well with her condition, and we're being proactive and staying ahead of it. So um, yeah, I love her, and that was my biggest adversity, and that showed me a lot about myself, and that showed me a lot about my mom and her character and just her strength. So yeah, and when things get hard for me in life and in football, whenever, I always think back to her in that moment because she never blinked. She never wavered. She just fought. She fought through, and she's still fighting to this day. So and it's 15 years later. So I'm so proud of her for that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. God bless her. Yeah. I think it's awesome you remember that. That's that perspective to take throughout the rest of your life. That's really beautiful, like I said. And I appreciate you sharing that, like I said, like on here. Thank you, Nikhai. I appreciate this. I know you got a lot of change going on and you're doing a lot of interviews. But I'll be rooting for you. And like I said, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it.